all the study, but you want pass. You dey get way where you comprehend a class. Hope you yes, and listen to me fast. You go feel like you dey see step and glass.
Salon for better, salon for crow, now who da responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow, now who da responsible? Now me responsible, or now you responsible. Everybody say now we all responsible. Now we dey do things them way sensible.
A small thing happen so, una begin for point finger. You keep you yon a box for the porcelain yon, you pull on a window. Then they begin blame Timini, then lock up begin blame Limba. Before black they blame then juice, well then juice back go blame ginger. We can sabi for identify the problem, but we not can sabi find the solution. You wait fat, you fat, now you back one gumble, but here pollution. As they give you money for shape, you go shape small, on the rest you go pull some. Politician demo, citizen demo, we all now don't mix fat pollution.
Salon for better, salon for crow, now who da responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow, now who da responsible? Now me responsible, or now you responsible. Everybody say now we all responsible. Now we dey do things them way sensible. If we don't know how we come on, let me know who's how we they go. If you don't work for money, how you expect now for make it flow? If you don't want the plant rest, how you want for make it go? In the Bible tell you say, you go reap what you sow. All tell you what makes alone do for you.
Munongo sabano, Binego munongo sabano, Binego munongo sabano, Binego munongo sabano. Uncle me kuti, back go sorry. Uncle me a call, back go kiyomi ba. Binego munongo sabano, Binego munongo sabano. Munongo sabano.
Thank you, God bless you. Thank you, God bless you. Thank you for that rendition. My family, I don't come back today. Until some man say, then go do out and lek, we will go talk how we lek. And the talk with some of we they talk. And for make the people of Sierra Leone get the awareness where they need. Not awareness for go cause trouble. No. Awareness for make we know what we need for know, so that we go able to take control of we country. Today on topic they can discuss, or where they can talk about, because not a discussion, a monologue. Not simple and straightforward topic, but a very deep. What make poverty in Sierra Leone? What make poverty in Sierra Leone? A country where the population now half the size of Lagos City of Nigeria. Less than half the size of London City in the United Kingdom. A country will get a lot of resources. You get a lot of potentials. Then, above all, the country gets one of the youngest populations you can find on earth. The average age in Sierra Leone is about 35, between 35 and 38, less than 40. But yet still, every day, poverty they increase, hardship they increase. Why? It's high time we begin to ask these questions. Why? Why is it that the parts of Africa where you find all the resources, now they hardship there? Because not only Sierra Leone, no. Then there's here we are Riboku and Niger. A lot of people, when they say Niger and a desert place, yes, desert is in the Sahel. But Niger is a country loaded with all the principal resources we would need in the world. Now the fourth largest uranium deposit country in the world. Niger has the 4th largest deposit of uranium. Niger get oil, then they mine them. Niger get gold. It get all other minerals them. But look at Niger as a country. Look at the city, the capital city. What do you see? Come to Sierra Leone. From the tell bin they go school small, and they tell you about diamond, gold, iron ore, bauxite, rutile, copper, platinum. A lot of people don't know say we even get platinum. A lot of people don't know that. The Western Area Peninsula is loaded with platinum. It's a fact. The Western Area Peninsula is loaded with platinum. We get diamonds offshore. That was proven in 1982, 83, when Amoco came to do the first offshore exploration trying to find oil. They discovered that we had diamonds offshore. Sierra Leone get the possibility for get oil and gas offshore. We get a 20 miles radius from the coast where they run from inside Guinea right down to Cape Mount County in Liberia, where it's possible for make them do farming. That farming can able produce up to 1 million tons of rice per annum. Sierra Leone get the possibility for be one of the largest exporters of cocoa and coffee. We get the possibility for export ginger. That lemongrass will take as ordinary crop. We get the possibility for export them. We have so much resources in that country, yet we are poor. Why? What can we do to change the dynamics? This are the things them what they talk about today. Now they are they talk about today. And I think say it all reach the time where the people of Sierra Leone for begin know them what, then for begin know why they are stuck in the woods. In my previous programs, I don't talk about why we stuck in the woods, but it's like people that don't begin to see reason. I don't get comments and compliments, etc. But what I'm saying is, I don't need them comments and compliments. I want that we listen. Then at a particular point, I get for change the nature of my programs. Them, I go make them an open discussion program. I go to invite people them, let them can talk. I go to invite people them by phone, let them talk. Let begin talk to we self na say, let left for talk per we self. Because right now, I talk with the talk per we self. We go now, I don't fed up so much with social media that now I delete myself from a lot of groups because it's waste of time. For Paul Nancy story, but whose goat been go eat people casada lifianda, that cow we go eat poss in grassianda. Not trying to solve the problem. How are we going to solve our problems? Let us begin to face the truth, because it's the truth that will set us free. We quick for blame. Na APC, na SLPP, na politician, na this, na that. Why are we poor? Can we answer that? Let we go step by step for try for answer this big question today. And let we begin learn for own up to responsibility from today. The first reason we make we poor as Sierra Leone. And I want to let people listen carefully because I don't want to be misunderstood. I want to listen carefully. The first reason we make we poor as Sierra Leone is we still they live and think in that colonial mindset. We still live and think in the colonial mindset. We not ever think outside the map of thinking where the British them been create for we. And the map of thinking where them been create for we, not for develop we, not for use we, for make them get the resources. You go on for ask how. A lot of people, they think say the British did so. They never did anything for Sierra Leone. They only went there to repatriate people they took from there into slavery. Then later, they went and colonized and create a system for take resources from the country. As a matter of fact, I have said it before, and I'm saying it again today. Because they not be one for take part in our development. That was why they did not care about education. The British never cared about education. So people cannot speak English. You not forget about that. English is not education. I can teach Pythagoras in Fulani, in Timni, or Mende. Yes. Those theories are not made by British. They are universal theories. And as a matter of fact, the first organized institution of learning within history, it was called the Lodge of Wahat. It was found in Egypt, Luxor in Egypt. Luxor is in the Sinai Peninsula. It's a town that still exists. Luxor. Go there, you'll find out. The first organized university on earth was at Luxor. It was called the Lodge of Wahat. Education started in Egypt. Algebra was introduced by a Persian called Muhammad al-Khwarizmi. Algebra, counting with letters. It was first practiced and taught at Luxor in Egypt. Geometry, trigonometry, all of these things were taught there. As a matter of fact, it was trigonometry and geometry that the ancient Egyptians used to construct the pyramids. Even though we get plenty theories about how these things were constructed, some say na alien, they can make them. Not so that's not the issue. The fact is, the pyramids of Egypt, the pyramids in Mayan, South America, go and look at them. These are effigies of an educated civilization. We're not a British or European. It's not that I have anything against British or European. But what I want for me to get clear is that mentality about superiority of British education. And one of the things where they hold we back. Because this British education, what they claim for, say, superior, it's all theories and stories. You know, they teach we the practical skills for make we take that lemongrass to make her into toffee. You know, they teach we the practical skills for make we take that lemongrass, we make her into tea. We export. That education, they know they teach we how for take we raffia and make them into something that is exportable. Now with timber, they cut down so they export. because we not get the skills in Sierra Leone. For use them wood then they and make furniture and export let the money come out the country. With type of education. And this persistence about keeping that type of education are the first reason will make poverty boku. Are the first reason will make people and they go, then get PhD, DSC, pass and can Congo say and lie. The woman them, they know what thing then they do to get job. We get so much potentials in that country. And so small a population that we're not supposed to forget poverty. We're supposed to forget an economy who say the least paid man, they take $2,500 home every month after he don't pay in tax. But with type of education, not they allow that. With type of education, it a waste with human resource. If you don't go to school, you don't speak English, you don't have a certificate, you are not useful in society. And when anybody see himself as useless, they join useless things. Then there's the discourse they come up about Kush. Yes, Kush, the one that they bring and come, is bad. But I'll tell you something. If we type of education, we provide avenues for make we young and able-bodied bobo them and titi them. They're able get things so then they do for themselves and earn income. They know they go take Kush. Now frustration they make who picking and go take Kush. The hardship where the rubbish education don't create in our country. And they push the young people them into drugs. It's common. Go to America. You see the same thing happen with the blacks. Because they don't have the skills to compete in the society. There are a lot of social barriers in the society. They get frustrated, so they easily go into drugs. This is a two-way business. People get hooked up in drugs out of frustration. Then you have some idiots who, rather than going to open a factory, then they use the money for import drugs and can sell the people them. But where did it all come from? The inability of the country for take responsibility and develop the human resource to the highest capacity. And this comes from the dysfunctional intellectual or elite class we'll get. We have to carry that blame. I'm part of that class. We have to carry that blame. You may ask me how. The intellectual class, now they're supposed for the think like the way they think and talk so. I say, how can we plan for this country so that everybody would have access to a type of education that will give them a skill to express their natural talents? How? As I'm talking, now we ask, almost schools now salon get ordinary microscope. Let alone talk about schools being equipped with tools for me them teach carpentry, let them teach sewing, let them teach auto mechanics, let them teach designs, let them teach music, let them teach sports. We go lead with picking them for express themselves and get a living for themselves, etc., etc. Almost schools get microscope, let alone talk about those equipments. And have we ever sat down to ask, how much will it cost to equip our schools? How much will it cost to fund education annually in the country? This is the role of the intellectuals. It's the role of the people in the public service. It's the role of anybody who thinks they can make an impact with their minds on Sierra Leone. Instead, we all dip our I, me, and mine. Look at us. Who benefits? Show me one Sierra Leonean. We go stand up and say, I am a very wealthy man, and he gets that money without being involved in politics. Do you think it's impossible for us to be wealthy without being involved in politics? If you ask me, I'll say no. It's not impossible. But because we don't get the mental capacity, by the type of education, it limits we thinking. We only think, go to school, go to university, get a job. Wealth is not created by jobs. And for a society to function properly, the society need for create wealth. If you get the skills for convert the resources, when I say resources, I know they talk about minerals. Sierra Leone can do without mining. Now begin get that clear. South Korea has no minerals, but South Korea is a developed economy. Singapore has no minerals. Singapore is a developed economy. Finland, next door to me, has no minerals, but it's a developed economy. It's not minerals that develop a country. It's the intellectual strength of the country that develops the country. And the intellectual strength of the country is determined by the type of education that the country gives. I live in Norway. In 1958, Norway took a decision. At that time, they may have known we have the possibility of getting oil, but they had not started mining oil. They took a decision and said, the human resource we have is an economic good. So let us put money so that we can equip our schools, we can train our teachers properly, we can provide teaching materials, and let everybody go to school without paying a fee. They started that in 1958, the year Nigeria started mining oil. They came about with one or two taxes. The people them agree by consensus, not so by force. They called meetings, they discussed it, the people agree. Then they came with a policy, because by then, poverty been there in the society. They came with a policy for school feeding. That every pikin they go school for get free lunch for eat during lunchtime. All that the people they agree. Then say, okay, let's pay a minimum tax for that. They agreed on the amount. They started paying. Up to today, that tax is paid by everybody in this country. The country spends $19,800 for every school-going student or pupil. Every year, $19,800 as I speak. Before it was less than that. What do they do with that money? Do they go and build schools? Yes, they build schools. They equip the schools. They put money for teacher training. They put money for teacher wages. They put money for everything connected in education with education. The carpentry workshop in a junior secondary school in Norway is more equipped than any factory we can talk about in Sierra Leone. Yes, I want you to believe that. It's unfortunate I cannot use some certain materials because of copyright issues, but I want you to believe that. The auto mechanic workshop in the senior secondary school is more equipped than any garage we can find in Sierra Leone. This is because the people have put premium on education. It's not talking education, free education, quality. No. Equip the schools. Get trained teachers, professionals. How many teachers do we have in Sierra Leone that can teach carpentry? How many teachers do we have in Sierra Leone that can teach auto mechanics? How many teachers do we have in Sierra Leone that can teach basic design and sewing? How many teachers do we have in Sierra Leone that can teach music? How many teachers do we have in Sierra Leone that can teach welding? Do we have them, in fact? Then we are talking about free quality education. We are talking about free quality brainwashing, British brainwashing. That's not education. And as a matter of fact, some of the degrees we go and earn, we don't need them. We don't need them. Honestly, peace and conflict, what do you need peace and conflict degree for? Peace and conflict management should be something like a course, not a degree. It should be part of every institution to have in-service courses for people to learn how to manage peace and conflicts within their institutions, because grievances happen every day. It's human nature. People go and waste time to have a degree in it. And when you have it, who do you expect to employ you? And for what reason are they going to employ you? Just because you have a degree, you should be employed? No. Then I came to Norway in 2003. I had all my university certificates approved, because here they approve you. What next? I found it difficult to get a job. There were several reasons, but the most prominent one is they don't need a geography teacher. Honestly, the subject we learn as geography, they have another way of teaching it in school without making it a subject. So I was forced, almost at the age of 50, to go and learn something else. As a matter of fact, that approved certificate gave me a chance to enter the university and get a PhD. But I refused to, because I saw no issue having a PhD. I decided, let me go and learn something which maybe even in my old age, I will sit down and use it. I decided to learn issues or aspects of information technology. I went into web development and programming. Then later I started learning about mobile applications development that I can use now. I use it now. And I will use it for as long as my mind can think. And as it is, I don't need anybody's job. Yes. That's what we should be doing for Sierra Leone. Another thing about the disadvantage of the type of education that we have, that we need to begin to know. The fact that we don't have industry-grade skills produced by our education. Investors who may want to go and invest in areas outside mining will not go to Sierra Leone. The majority of the serious investments we find on earth are not in mining, extractive industry. They are in areas of production of goods and services, technology, etc. We don't have those skills, so therefore investors don't go to us. And because investors don't go to us, our economy is stagnated. That's why we have poverty. There is no circulation of wealth in the society. Whatever little money we get from those little taxes paid by mining companies and the other money that we receive from external donors, we are quick to swallow them in the political domain. So there is no circulation of wealth. And what is the effect of that on society? How does the lack of circulation of wealth encourage poverty? Poverty is created when there is no wealth creation. How can wealth be created? Create the conditions for people to consume goods and services. When you create the condition for people to consume goods and services, you have created a condition for demand and supply. That's economics you are taught in school. Demand and supply only takes place where there is the ability to consume. How do we create the ability to consume? First and foremost, there has to be real incomes in society. How do we create real incomes? First, improve the human resource to be of value, to earn high and real wages. If your cleaner is trained to do a professional job, like the trained cleaners in Europe or in Norway, I can use Norway as an example. Cleaning is something that people go to course for and get a certificate on. When you have that certificate, you have a driver's license, you get a job that will pay you minimum $2,500 as take home. If a cleaner can earn that amount, then he has the capacity to consume. If every youngster in Sierra Leone has the capacity to consume, not to pass go bigger, or go thief for making able to buy something. If he gets the skill, where they give him a wage or an income, where they make him able to buy telephone for himself, he buy shoes every 2 months, he buy clothes every 2 months, he able rentals, he buy bed, he buy furniture. That consumption is going to trigger wealth creation. And in the medium and long term, poverty will disappear. But we take all the money, go keep our side. A few people. Yeah, we are the middle class. You don't have middle class in Sierra Leone. Let us stop talking crap. There are no middle class in Sierra Leone. You have two classes, the haves and the don't haves. And the don't haves are them boku. They don't have it. And these are the people who go into drugs. They go into prostitution. They go into all those ills of society. And these are the people who we use as thugs. We use them for everything where we feel we achieve. Then we have the audacity to say, now so God mark. Which God will they mark that? They will be asked. Which God? A God who can mark evil for people does not exist. It's in our minds. It's in our selfish minds. The God who made this world does not institute selfishness. Now we, the human being, are we selfish? Are we? And how they create them problems here, especially amongst us, the blacks. That's one reason why poverty is with us. We don't look at the common good. We look at the personal good all the time. You will never understand the white people until you live with them. The white people, they look at the common good. Yes. The white people help themselves. I don't care what you think. They don't take money to give you, not more money than they give you. Then they create the conditions let you able to do for yourself. We in Sierra Leone, we they create the conditions let people then they come bigger to we. Feel good. They institute and sustain poverty that way. We don't know that. Why are we poor? It's because of the way we think. Because apart from the educational system that is wrong, if we be done the thing, say, let us make this place for all of us, then we would have sat down to brainstorm and come with solutions. Now, we have over half of the population of Sierra Leone living in the western area. We are instituting poverty by encouraging that. Which government has sat down to look at how do we take these people back to the land? How do we take them to the rural areas? If even they are thinking of that, honestly, the solutions they wouldn't come with not durable, they're not sustainable. Let me say one thing today, and let me say it clearly for everybody. This issue of rural electrification, the kind of rural electrification we have taken up is wrong for a developing country. You can use it in a developed country, fine. Solar is not the answer to our electricity demands. Why? One, solar cells, after 5 years, their lifespan done. Then go continue for the work. But honestly, anything that is electronic, after 5 years, it don't reach the end of a guaranteed lifespan. As I'm talking to you, my cooker stopped working 2 days ago. Now, I sent to the company, they say you don't have any guarantee because it was bought in 2018. So if we are coming to repair it, it's going to cost this. If not, buy a new one, we come and fix it. I don't look at the cost, I say, buy a new one. Because the cost where they cost is more than the new one, first and foremost. Secondly, if even they repair them, chances are in the next 2 or 3 months, it will go off back. So let me buy a new one that will be guaranteed for the next 5 years. This is how electronic goods operate. So taking solar to the villages, after 5 years, those panels are going to be out of order. And the second thing, when them panel and battery deteriorate, it become an environmental risk. The batteries will produce a lot of toxic materials. The solar panels, they deteriorate, they produce toxic materials. Do we have the capacity to handle those things as waste? Ordinary dirty, na city, we're not able to get them properly. Now electronic waste, we're able to manage. Thirdly, if we talk about development, is it only subsistence agriculture that we want our people to be engaged in? Don't we think we have to begin to look at agriculture for industrialization, agro-industries? If we are thinking of agro-industries, can solar provide the power for an agro-industry to produce and export? I not say home industry. Also, they take the corn, now you beat them for make something small scale, maybe. But industry for export and make profit, can solar supply that power? Do we know how many acres or hectares of land we may need to seize if we want to put solar panel to have a solar farm to supply that industry? Is it economically wise? Sierra Leone has a potential to generate electricity, not from big dams like Bumbuna, but mini dams. We get a potential of up to 45 to 50. We get a potential for produce over 2,500 megawatts of power. We mean say, if we will get industries in the rural areas, they're able to run themselves, then we'll go get small back for export and sell and make money. Have we sat down to think of that? Norway, before they started mining oil in 1969, was known throughout Europe for generating and selling hydroelectric power. Yes, the government made a lot of income from that, and they are still making income from it as I speak. Norway, they supply the power needs of Europe up to about 30%, if I'm not wrong. Yes, and it's from hydroelectricity. And it's because we are using hydroelectricity that I can cook using electricity. I can heat my house using electricity. It's affordable. And people make money from it. People have been trained to manage it. There are hydroelectric plants in this country, except they tell you this generates like it's a small mini something in a rural area. But they put the power in the national grid and make money. Yes, we don't need to build a big dam. Flowing water can generate electricity. It all depends on how you think. Our engineers should begin to think. Yeah, they should begin to think. Don't leave that profession to people who are not in it. And then they go make a batch of street after 5 days, the coaltar don't come out. Diabu. Let engineers be engineers from now on. Begin to think. There is a lot of potential for you people in Sierra Leone, a multi-billion business. But are you united as a group? Do you think as a group? Are you going to continue with the I, me, and mine mentality? Continue that way, then poverty will continue. Apart from these things, what are the other reasons why we are poor in Sierra Leone? All of us claim to be educated, but how many of us have, after education, gone into research? When I say research, not to go begin research, but what thing they don't do, can write your own way. Research, go to the village, that plants, that lemongrass, that pineapple, that mango, that orange, that guava, that sour sharp. Go do some research. Find out how it can be made into an exportable good. Get your model. Then look for capital. Call people around. Bonacalo can build up this thing. That's another thing that is absent about us. We don't want to form corporate bodies to work with other people. We want to do things all by ourselves. Are they going to bank? I go take loan. The bank value you. You not value reach $100,000, you expect them to give you $1 million because they increase. If it's a corporate body registered, the bank will put money there because they know when the institution start to operate, then get assets and things like that. If they lost the money, then get outside for go take and get the money back. The mentality of individuality is one of the reasons why we are poor. We have to begin to think corporate. A small country in East Africa, Somaliland, we not get no minerals. Then people them in the diaspora, about 6 years ago, then decide say, let's get a diaspora investment forum. We will be ready to put $100 or more every month as we can afford it into that fund. Those you to go do for a country. Today, Somaliland in East Africa is run by that fund. They don't have money. They go and ask for from China or for Russia or IMF. They run their country. Sierra Leone can do that, but we are too selfish. 1, 2, we not trust each other. That's the other thing will make poverty the way. Lack of trust. We are so sunk in it that even people who mean good with the things saying are bad they mean for we. Trust. Trust. Trust is one thing we have to begin to build in society. And how do we begin to build it? Those of you in government have the greatest responsibility. Change the way you do things. Stop bullying people. Those of you in the judiciary, pass judgment according to the ethical and moral issues behind it. Let the people trust the institutions. Let the people trust those who govern them. Then we'll be able to get people to put money together. Way back in 1993-94, I used to go on the SLBS every Saturday with the late Alhaji Yunisa Alim Sise Aoko. We had a program, Business Today. We'll be the talk on behalf of Sierra Leone Chamber of Commerce. And some of those programs, we did an extensive advocacy for the formation of a stock exchange in Sierra Leone. We liken it to Osusu. This Osusu, now stock exchange. But the Osusu, why not the profit we? Because what you pull, now they take. If you get Osusu, who say people and they put money, then say, all right, I don't put this money for the next 5 years. When I invest, now they get dividends from the profit or now they make. Then we'll begin to see poverty disappear. That's how stock exchanges are run. And when you now begin gather them money, then they, who that want start business, he can go there, he go advertise, say, but I want start business, who that go invest with me? If they trust you and see how honest you are, looking back at your record, people will put money. You start the business. What profits come, all man get you on according to what he put. But if you cannot, if everybody, I can do this, I can do that, bring investor, I will not take an investor to somebody. I don't need you. I need trust in the society. If there is trust, I don't need anybody to go to Sierra Leone for investment. Honestly. I'm a born Sierra Leonean. Do I need somebody to go through to get investors instead? No, that's funny. I was born and brought up in Sierra Leone, and I lived in Sierra Leone up to 1998. But we don't create a society who feel safe, for take mistrust, be part of the society, then a few will come and say, trust me, I am not the wrong hands. I can protect. You cannot protect me. Protect yourself against poverty first and foremost. Get yourself out of poverty by doing honest job. Build trust. Then other people will trust you. I'm going to clean the image. You cannot clean no image. You cannot. Because action speaks. The white man knows more than we think they know about us. There are things about Sierra Leone that I didn't know until I came to Norway. They have all the records. Everything that happens every day is recorded. They know. And they are using it to their advantage because we are behaving and thinking funny. And with material exuberance, we know they see nothing. We know they understand nothing. I don't build 10, so I get 5 SUV. You're wasting your time. You're tying up money. That money, if you had invested it in a small-scale industry, build trust with the people, invest it, start to grow with it, I swear to God, in that 5-10 years we take for building 10 houses a day, you don't get multi-billions. Money does not come by magic. That will get for begin. No magic, no juju. That juju a waste of time. Think properly, plan properly, then you'll get things done. But if you say, you continue for think I think, well, so be it. Poverty will always be there. We have to look at the way we think and understand life. We have to look at our educational system. We have to look at our governance system. Is the governance system made for development? No. It is made for creating affluence for a few. It's made for creating affluence for a few, not for development. It's high time we begin to think and plan in Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone can be as big as any economy. Sierra Leone can even be bigger than this Dubai and all these places we shout about because of this thing I've put on the map, on the screen, I'm sorry. The geolocational advantage of Sierra Leone in the Atlantic region. Let me read it for those who cannot see properly. 1, Sierra Leone is on the curve of the Atlantic Ocean, putting her at an equidistance to every major city and port on the Atlantic region. All major cities on the Atlantic can be reached within 8 hours by air from Freetown International Airport. Maximum 8 hours, some less than that. Every major port city on the Atlantic can be reached by sea within 16 days, north, south, Buenos Aires, etc., etc. Maximum 16 days. Sierra Leone has the 3rd biggest natural harbor after Rotterdam and Hong Kong on Earth. And it's the only natural harbor in Africa. Sierra Leone has a population that is between 55 to 70% in the young employable age. These potentials, if we harness them by thinking and planning properly, in the next decade, Sierra Leone will be the richest country in Africa. But can we? That's the question. Can we? Are we ready? Or are we still taking joy in killing and maiming each other? Then we blame it. Oh, now they caused this, now they caused that. And of course, one thing very funny about us. We always they talk, I am a Pan-Africanist. Yeah, you may be whatever. Me not a Pan-Africanist, me not Port-Africanist. I'll tell you this. You know why? The pan receives, the pot creates. The pot now then they cook the soup and the plasas and the rest for it. The pan now then they put on for make we eat. So now receiver. Maybe because we say that Pan-Africanist now make us still dependent. From today, I'll describe myself as a Port-Africanist. That means I want us to begin to look how do we create things that will take us out of poverty. Let's cook this food to take us out of poverty. Let us stop talking and start thinking. Above all, let us stop bullying each other. Let us accept the fact that all of us have a right to be there. And because of that, even that poor, haggard man in the street that you consider a madman, who may be sober than most of us, that we call blacker, he has a right. He has a right. And that man at times says something sensible, more sensible than some of us who think we are sober and educated. It's high time we become ashamed of ourselves. It's high time. There is a potential. Some of us know how to tap that potential. But we are talking now for you to listen. If you don't listen, we'll sit back and allow you. Hey, if I die in Norway, so be it, by the grace of God. But if Sierra Leone is ready, and Sierra Leone puts honesty, fair play, trust, and respect for the rights of everybody before all other considerations. Some of us will go there, and we are not going alone. We'll come with resources to help make that place a better place. I hope my message has sunk today. Go out of this for now. Thank you for listening to me.
Salon for better, salon for crow, now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow, now who that responsible? And me responsible, I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say now we all responsible. Now we dey do things them way sensible.
If you be the sleep, it's not self for wake by you dream. Now face reality, because this year not to film. If you want talk say you're dirty, and you young dirty force you for clean. You know want for work like a slave, but you want for it like a king. Hey, Salomon, so like ready made. How you go get work, but you no land trade. You no land book, you no get talent, now you need. But you want for sleep, now as a bed. You know they study, but you want pass. You dey get way where you come in a class. Open yes, and listen to me fast. You go feel like you dey see step my glass.
Salon for better, salon for crow, now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow, now who that responsible? And me responsible, I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say now we all responsible. Now we need to do things them way sensible.
A small thing happen so, una begin for point finger. You keep you young, a box or a busting in young, you pull on a window. Then they begin blame Timini. Then lock up begin blame Limba. Before black they blame then juice. Well then juice back go blame ginger. We can sabi for identify the problem, but we not can sabi find the solution. You ain't fat, you fat, now you back one gumble, but here pollution. As they give you money for shape, you go shape small. On the rest, you go pull some. Politician demo, citizen demo. We all now don't mix fat pollution.
Salon for better, salon for crow, now who that responsible? Salon for better, salon for crow, now who that responsible? And me responsible, I say, oh now you responsible. Everybody say now we all responsible. Now we dey do things them way sensible. If you don't know how we come on, let we know it's how we dey go. If you don't work for money, how you expect now for make it flow? If you know when they plant, yes, how you want for make it go. Even the Bible tell you say, you go reap what you sow. I'll tell you what makes alone do for you, but you don't do.
Binengo munongo sabano. Binengo munongo sabano. Binengo